integrating SaaS applications with Azure AD. Now, what do we mean by the SaaS applications? Applications which are already developed, we just need to access it, and in most of the cases we just need a subscription. That means our ID should be given permission to the resources which are taken care of by the application, various areas of the application. So we can say that's what is SaaS application. So your Office 365 is a SaaS application. Dropbox is a SaaS application. Facebook, Twitter can be treated as SaaS application. So all these things which are listed here, we can put it under the SaaS application category. So now what is the challenge? To access this application, we need an identity. And that identity, we want it to be managed by Azure AD. The developers of these SaaS applications have facilitated Azure AD identity for the users so that they don't have to log in with a separate identity on these applications. That means if you have already logged into Azure AD, the same sign-in will be used with these applications also. Basically implemented single sign-on. So Microsoft has given us a gallery of such applications. So Azure AD gallery applications we call it. They provide automatic support for Azure AD. The administrators don't need to provision user accounts manually for these applications. So if they set up Dropbox for business, GitHub if somebody wants to set up for business, if Salesforce software has to be used, Office 365 has to be used, or any one of these would not require administrator to create separate user accounts in any other place. Azure AD accounts will perfectly work with them. So yes, there are federated applications, some automatically provision and deprovision Azure AD accounts, and gallery applications support federated single sign-on using a protocol such as SAML, WS Federation, OpenID Connect. All these are also supported, standard protocols. So now let us see an example and we'll understand better. So I go to now Azure AD, and in my AD we have got enterprise applications, this section. These are the enterprise applications which my corporate users can access. So these are all predefined. You can also see one custom application which I developed is here. But these are all enterprise applications. So if I want my enterprise users to access any of the SaaS application, I have to configure in my AD a new application. So many. Lot of options, cloud platform. So here it's a big list actually. Simple to learn, where we may not need license. Problem is all these things will require license. So I will not be able to demonstrate all of them. But something which may not require license and easy to understand can be, let's search for it, Facebook. You can search, there are hundreds of applications. So there was an old user interface. If you want to switch, this is the old UI. There are around 3,658 gallery applications as of now under different categories. or we can look at the new interface. Of course, the new is in preview at this point of time, but eventually if a positive feedback is given, this will become permanent. Large icons. So I search Facebook, and here you can give some name if you want. I mean, instead of Facebook, if you want to change the name and give something, click on create. Now to configure each of these applications, the steps are different. The steps are not same. So if you have to configure Facebook, you'll have to go to the URL where they have documented the steps for configuring it. And here you should search the application. Documentation is required. Sorry, it looks like those pages are not available anymore. I'm not able to navigate to them. They were quite easy to access earlier. What we used to do is just go to the old interface, select the application, and here we used to have the link. But they are now linking to a separate page altogether. Password based single sign-on, what is the feature? For every application we had a separate dedicated page actually for steps to configure. Anyways, I'll tell you the steps for Facebook. Something similar you will have to do for other applications also. So in my enterprise application, I already have Facebook now. I have added Facebook to the enterprise application. Now I need to configure this Facebook so that organization users can access Facebook from their account. Sounds ridiculous, but yeah, there is a possibility. So these are the steps you'll have to perform. Now imagine a situation where an organization has a Facebook account, and for marketing purpose, the users in the organization are supposed to access that Facebook account. So you will have to now first add users and groups. Basically it takes you to this section. So here you can add users who will be able to access Facebook using their organization ID. Let's say I add here admin@bestitcourses.com, or maybe one more user if I want. That's it. So right now I have configured these users. Now something very interesting here. When we select a particular user here, right now you see update credential is disabled. That is because we have to also set up single sign-on. I have not set up single sign-on. By default it's disabled. That's the second step actually. So in second step, I would like to say single sign-on. Now Facebook kind of app only supports password based single sign-on. Select this password based and save it. Now go back to users and groups. Now select the user. You see update credentials is enabled. Now there are two users. User 1, user 2. For user 1, I am giving update credentials. That means for user 1, I will type what is the user account they should use. Some account I'll say. So now what will happen is when user 1 will go to facebook.com from the access panel. What is this access panel? We will see next. When user 1 will log into access panel, and from access panel if the user goes to facebook.com, it will not ask for username and password. Instead, automatically this username and password will be picked up. I'm not doing that for user 2. For user 2, I'm not setting username and password. So imagine if this is my Facebook corporate account. User 1 doesn't need to know the password of that corporate account of Facebook. That's the advantage of this technique. So for user 2, I'm not giving anything. I'll keep update credentials as blank for user 2. Selection problem, discard, select, update credentials. It should be blank here. Select, update credentials. Yeah, saved. Now how do we visit access panel? Before that, we completed this step, Third step is supposed to be provision user accounts. That means we need to provision the user accounts in Facebook, which is already done. You can set some policies, which we haven't covered. We'll do this later. Some access policies can be set. There is a feature like when the user is outside the company network, they are required to sign in with multi-factor authentication. When the user is in the managers group, they are required to use Intune. These are all conditional access policies. These conditional access policies supposed to be come into effect only when we have multi-factor authentication enabled. So there is a separate topic on it, we will cover later. But yes, here you see conditional access policy. I'm going to introduce this interface to you later. Right now we are not getting into that also. So that's it. I think we are good. So now let us say user 1 wants to visit Facebook. User 2 wants to visit Facebook. So we will go here. There is something called as myapps.microsoft.com. myapps.microsoft.com. This myapps.microsoft.com is the access panel. So I'll give here user 1 at some domain name, that user which is there. Give the password. This is the access panel. It needs some additional information because password reset feature is enabled. That's it. This is the access panel. In this access panel, all the enterprise applications which are accessible to the logged in user are going to be visible. App, self-service. If you want to add additional applications, there are no suggested apps right now. This is a separate topic. So here we have Facebook. click on Facebook. Now we have to now install a extension. The browser extension has to be installed. That browser extension is the one which will help us to remember our password and use that subsequently. Now the problem is I am in incognito mode and this will not be allowed. Let me use Chrome. myapps.microsoft.com. A different browser I opened, which is not in incognito mode. So now I go to Facebook. It will ask me to install the plugin, the extension actually. Okay, the extension is already there on this browser. I have already installed extension for the previous batch. That's why it did not ask me. But otherwise you see, because I gave user one account, it automatically logged into my Facebook account. Whatever. So now I go back, I log out from here. I this time use user 2. User 2 logged in. Now click on Facebook. It's going to take me to the login page of Facebook. Oh, because I'm already logged in, this problem is coming. All these problems because we are using from same machine. How do we log out? I'll close and open it once again so that nothing from cached is used. See here, when user 2 is logged in, it's asking me to enter username and password. Now I enter some username and password here, something else. It logged me in. Automatically it will take me inside. Come on. It should actually take automatically in, not doing some changes maybe. It gave me the username and password and I'm in. Now I close the window again and I open once again. Again, I go to my apps. If you're working in some corporate, and if you have a corporate email ID, including Office 365 if you have, right now I would suggest you go to myapps.microsoft.com and you will see there all the applications which are enabled by your organization in that page. This is a problem because we are practicing, otherwise these things are good. Now click here. It will not ask me for the dialog box of username and password once again. It will directly take me in. Nothing. It directly took me inside. So this is basically the advantage of password based sign-on. Password based sign-on. We did not do SAML sign-in, or we haven't done anything else. So the enterprise login and the enterprise application login, that means your corporate ID, user1@bestitcourses.com, and the Facebook ID are different. In those kind of cases, this is the mode which is supposed to be used. And I repeat once again, if I go to single sign-on, I have selected password sign-on. That's why this option has come. We can change the mode later if in case we want, but Facebook doesn't support other modes. And here it is important step. Now you see for user 2, if I select, we will have an update credential Sandeep Soni at 𝗙𝗶𝗵𝗁.com. That's it. What I have given first time, that gets recorded here. And user 2 now from access panel, when goes to Facebook, automatically this particular account will be used. So if it was already given, well and good. If it was not given, it will be asked and remembered. So you don't have to remember now password for each site which you visit through your access panel. That is the whole idea. One time you give the password, and that plugin which we installed in the browser, that's going to take care of remembering, and at the same time it gets updated here. So that's a very novice basic application what we configured for. All the steps are given here in case you are practicing this.